What's up, guys? Welcome back to Pretty Suited Podcast. It's your girl, Lauren Williamson, and I am back for episode 2. Yay, clap it up for me. I do want to start by saying thank you guys so much for your support, your likes, your reshares. I just received nothing but encouraging words these past few days. Now, I do want to say I did change the name. I know that in the first episode it said Lauren Williamson TV. But I said, you know what? Let me kind of dial in exactly on what I want this podcast to be. And Pretty Suited, let me explain what that means. So, for example, if you want to be well suited or pretty suited for a job or position, you want to be very capable of doing the job, right? So you're well suited, you're pretty suited for that job. I think that should apply to every aspect of your life. I think that you should want to be well suited or pretty suited for anything that you do, whether you are a mom, whether you are an employee, whether you are a basketball player, whatever it is that you want to do, you want to be the best at it. You want to be the best for that position. So Pretty Suited to me is just this community. We're just doing a lot of self work, a lot of self-improvement, also just learning about different things in the workplace, how to, manage that workspace as a millennial, like how we think about things, how we're navigating through, our 20s and 30s and 40s, right? So pretty suited is also a double entendre. Not only are you well suited for the job on paper, but you're also pretty suited visually, right? So I wanted to kind of incorporate the whole picture of what kind of millennial boss and what that means. So the first topic we're going to talk about today is what kind of woman are you? And I know that can be a very gaslighting kind of word. Oftentimes we see in a lot of these podcasts or a lot of these blog topics is what kind of woman are you and what do you bring to the table? I just get nauseous thinking about that term. What do you bring to the table? So I'm not going to even go that route because there's plenty of conversations about that. But what I would like to talk about is, a couple years back, I did start Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction. And Robert Greene is also known for his famous book, 48 Laws of Power. And I know most people, especially men, may have read this book to kind of be more strategic in how they move, right? Especially if you want to be in the corporate world, if you want to be a boss, if you want to be an entrepreneur, that book kind of tells you, how to strategically get to be the top position. So the art of seduction to me, I thought was just as equally as important because while it may not just be talking about you being sexy and how to get a man, it's not talking about that, really. I think the real conversation is how to seduce, your way to the top. And seduction is not just about sex. It can literally just be charm, right? And charisma. So I thought, why not read that too? That's just as important as trying to, play chess and not checkers, right? I would say majority of women have a bit of each characteristic. Like for me, on a random Wednesday, I might be the natural. You might see me in my natural state. I don't want to wear any makeup. I'm wearing my natural hair. I am, fasting from, white meat, so chicken and turkey. I'm going straight vegetarian for that week, to try to detox my body. That just might be me that week. And then one week I'm feeling myself, right? So I'm dressing up more throughout the week. I'm wearing makeup every day. I have my lashes. I have maybe my assets, a little bit highlighted, if you know what I mean. Because that's just kind of how I feel. So I feel like you shouldn't just put yourself into different boxes and just say, I'm only this. But just have a little bit of both. And in that way, you kind of can be flexible depending on the situation. What kind of characteristics do you see yourself having more of that Robert Greene describes in the Art of Seduction? So please just let me know below. Let me know in the comments and let me know how that has worked for you. So speaking of the different type of woman and what that even means, and that can be very misleading because the term woman is so broad, right? So vast, so descriptive. Like you can't really just narrow it down to small categories or certain adjectives. But women can possess both feminine and masculine energy. And some women have more masculine energy than feminine energy. Some women may have more feminine energy than masculine energy. And that's okay. And depending on your upbringing and circumstances, some of the masculine and feminine energy can wax and wane, right? So we have to just be careful when we say that, you're too masculine. It's like, okay, I have masculine energy as well, and then just in this instance, I may need to exude more than feminine energy. So speaking of that, in this conversation that I saw on Instagram, they were having, I think the podcast or the show is called Tonight's Conversation Cards. I guess these is cards where you're able to bring up different topics and kind of have a round table debate or discussion about it. Just check this clip out.
Women are passionate about stuff. Yeah. Sometimes a woman has a point. Sometimes when a woman says, hey, this actually really hurts me, we say it in different tones. Mm-hmm. A lot of times men are like, I don't like that in which you say, the way you say it. A lot of the times it's, I don't like what you're saying. And the fact that you're saying it aggressively, confidently, like you know how you feel.
Mm-hmm. Or loudly or boldly.
Or boldly. Mm-hmm. You're too masculine. Mm-hmm. You need to shut it the down because I don't like it, and what it does is it intimidates me.
Having a confident attitude and having courage to speak up for yourself is automatically equated to masculinity.
So as you can see in this clip, I'm going to bring it back to the career in the workspace, just because this podcast does talk about women in the workplace, right? So I've worked in several different kind of spaces, whether it's a hospital, or a corporate setting, even in academia. And I will tell you this, I could not have gotten where I am now if it wasn't for my assertiveness. I mean, I'm not saying that you cannot, climb ranks and you can't, be a leader, just only being masculine. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that leadership comes with you being capable of making decisions, being confident in those decisions, taking initiative, and things like that. And most of those things are associated with masculine energy, right? So you can't really say, oh, I'm going to be the supervisor or manager and not have the assertiveness to make important decisions, stand by them, make scheduling, set policies, enforce those policies. Like those things take assertiveness. So, of course, most women who are successful in their career have to be assertive and exude some sort of masculine energy. However, it is very unfortunate that when women of color, particularly Black women, are voicing their opinion about something, or maybe even offering a different approach to something, their tone automatically is deemed to be aggressive rather than assertive. But let somebody else of another nationality or ethnicity say those same things, and it may be deemed as just she's passionate about it. Versus Black women, we can be extremely competent in what we're saying, but it rubs people the wrong way when we're so confident in what we're saying. I feel like a lot of that had to do with us growing in these spaces and trying to work our way past the hurdles to get to the top. And then also too, one thing that I've noticed in some corporate settings is that a lot of other people, a lot of people don't talk about this, but a lot of other women of other nationalities may even look towards Black women to speak on something because they are okay with us looking big, bad, and assertive. I don't like that. In the words of the great Carisha, I don't like that. So not only are we seen as assertive, but a lot of times we can be put in the role of Captain Save 'em, right? if you see that Nicole, who's a black woman, is assertive, she gets her points across, she's very articulate, and she's very knowledgeable, and they take her word seriously, right? The other women in the space will literally have an issue, take it to Nicole, and hope that Nicole is the one that voices her opinion in the meeting so that it's said, because they didn't have the guts to say it themselves. I've been there. And I'm like, so why are you bringing the problem to me? Why aren't you bringing the problem to to the manager? I can't do nothing about that. But they're coming to me because they know that I will say something if I feel the same way. And they want you to say it because they're okay with you looking like the bad guy. They don't want to seem like the bad guy. And I have to stop myself because I'm like, I know this show. I know you didn't just do this. Like, I know what you're doing. And I have to pause and make sure that I'm not speaking for just you. I'm speaking for me. And if you have an issue on something that I don't have an issue with, that's not my problem. Sometimes you have to say, that's not my problem. If you have a grievance with that, you take that up with the boss, or you take that up with the customer. But for you to come to me because I'm going to say something, and you're going to basically use me as kind of like a shield in order to get something you want done. Oh no, but we're not playing those games. We're not playing those games. I'm not your knight in shining armor. I know there's a meme going around like there's like a black guy and a black woman eating dinner, and the waitress forgets his ranch dressing, and the girl is like, where's his ranch dressing? Like, basically, if the woman doesn't speak up for the man and argue with the server about his messed up meal, then he don't want her. While it's hilarious, right? Like, you sticking up for your guy, right? That's your boo. You taking up for him. So while that's hilarious, that can be kind of dangerous if you keep up that narrative that the black woman is everybody's savior. Because we're not. Okay, you gotta chill on that narrative, because you're gonna get mad when you're constantly put in position to save other people and nobody's there to save you. But as Amanda Seals would say, right? Okay. So on a lighter note, the Emmys were a couple of days ago, and while I didn't watch the whole ceremony, I am excited to see the winners. Mama Shirley Ralph. Let me tell you, Shirley Ralph has been on my TV screen since I was about 6 years old. That woman is the epitome of grace, okay? She has been extremely graceful in her career since, she did Dreamgirls back in the day. And on my TV screen, she was Dee Mitchell, Moesha's stepmother. And she wasn't no Claire Huxtable. She stuck up for her guns. She stood by Frank Mitchell, okay? But then she told Frank Mitchell when he was wrong, too. So that was, I think, the epitome of what a stepmother should be. Oftentimes, we didn't even see that on TV, the stepmother. And if she was a stepmother, she was, most hated and evil and things like that. But when she was on Moesha and she played Dee Mitchell, she was, I think, the perfect stepmother. She knew her place. She knew when to step up and say something. She knew when to help out Moesha, and I just thought it was fantastic. She also, recently is just shining on Abbott Elementary. She's always been, I think, a well-rounded woman, a very diverse actress, and I just love Shirley Ralph. So kudos to her for getting her flowers this past week. I think that it's long overdue, but well-deserved. Same goes for Lizzo for getting her Emmy for her reality TV show. And of course, Quinta Brunson for doing kind of the impossible, coming from Vine, and now is at the top of her game on Abbott Elementary. I just can't be more happy for them, seriously. So y'all, they coming out with a new Whitney Houston movie. I just don't understand. So a new trailer for the new Whitney Houston biopic called I Want to Dance with Somebody was just released today. And I am just floored how they just keep coming up with the same movie over and over again. Like, let Whitney rest, y'all. Let Whitney rest. Like, the lady is tired. She is in her grave. God rest her soul. Let that lady rest. Okay? It's just like every year they're coming out with a new movie. And while I know they probably will showcase some great scenes, the trailer looked awesome, to be quite honest with you. It looked like it had Whitney's actual voice singing, and it just, the visuals looked great. But I think that it can be quite exhausting when you are time and time again telling somebody's story who's not here to help with that storytelling. I think it's very deceitful. I think it's a little underhanded because Whitney is not here to tell her side of the story. It's not quite the same when somebody isn't here to tell their side of the story, to invoke that emotion, like exactly how they felt when this happened, to get the, sensory right, to get the feeling right, to get the wardrobe right. Like, it just makes a big difference when the actual person is a part of the project. Same thing goes with Mike Tyson with this new project, Mike on Hulu. He wasn't a part of that movie. He wasn't a part of making the movie. It was solely done by other people from the outside looking in. And while it could be effective, it's not the most accurate. It's not the most genuine type of movie, a type of film, because that person just wasn't a part of it. And it's just not going to have that same thing that person would be able to offer. So with this Whitney Houston movie, the problem is just that it's just been done so much that you kind of ask yourself, okay, what else is there to tell? The woman had a phenomenal career. She was very successful, arguably the greatest voice of all time. Okay. And so for you guys to continually pluck at her story is kind of, I don't like it. I ain't gonna lie. I may watch it, I just think that we just gotta chill with the biographies and the post, death biographies. We gotta chill on that because I just don't think it's right. So since we're talking about movies, I want to get into my watch list of the week. You see my little theme song there. But anyways, this week it would have to be Queen Latifah's new movie. Y'all, I just got to do another sigh because I'm just... This week I watched Queen Latifah's new movie, End of the Road, that is on Netflix. I love me some Queen Latifah. I mean, she the queen. She barely does any wrong in my eyes. She always had great films, classic films, and she a great, rap career. I just love Queen Latifah. It is what it is. However, this movie, which I did find out that she was also the producer of, it wasn't good. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna say it with my chest. It wasn't good. While there were good parts of it, I can understand the sentiment of being black in Midwest and how, you could feel uneasy with it, and you just, you may have lost your home. Spoiler alert, by the way. You may have lost your home due to your spouse's illness, and how it can be a great financial load, a financial burden on your family, and you have to make drastic moves and things like that. I can completely sympathize with that kind of story. However, the actual movie itself, it was shot well. I think that, some of the cinematography was really good. How it was, the color grading and how they incorporated a lot of neon into, the desert, because it can be very bland. Like the desert can itself be very bland. So they tried to incorporate different colors, like the color of the door and being bright and things like that. Like I look for those kind of visual things of the movie, but the plot and the writing and some of the acting, it is given very C plus. It's given very C plus. I would say that for one, Queen Latifah's wig, it was given very Tyler Perry. It was. Cause she had faux locks, and while regular faux locks would have sufficed, if she actually used her hair in the faux locks. But they decided to do a faux locks wig, and that may not have been the best choice. It just looked very synthetic. And then you had Chris Todd Bridges, also known as Ludacris. His character, while I don't mind, Ludacris as an actor at all, his character, I think, was very underdeveloped, because he was kind of seen as being a mess up, a screw up. They also made him out to be very childish, right? Grown man, you can tell he's in his late 30s. But the way he was portrayed in the movie gave very immature, almost to the point where she couldn't even trust him to take care of her kids. She couldn't even trust him to make right decisions. And, it was just, and she was the one to, again, Black woman savior, always be the one to speak out against the racists in the movie. Like, hold on, brother, let me get my behind out the car and go speak to these two racist men with guns and try to defuse the situation, instead of letting him do it. Like that, I was like, what are we doing here? Why is this Black woman, I understand those are your kids in the car and you want to be mama bear and protect them, but in every situation she was basically telling him, no, you chill, I'll do it. I was like, okay, I for one can't get with this. I can't do it. But anyways, that just was kind of the gist of the movie, was her being the equalizer in the desert and with the bad wig, and it just wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. However, I'm not ever going to disrespect Queen Latifah in a sense, because I understand her business mind. I understand her, her many talents, and I just think that maybe this was a project that could utilize a bit more resources, or maybe just a little bit more time to flush out, and it could have been a better movie. Lastly, I want to get into the tune of the week, which, let me tell you, this artist has been under my radar for a long time. I'm really just now discovering this person. I knew of him, but I did not know how dope he was. And I'm talking about the artist JID or JID. He just released an album entitled The Forever Story, and let me tell you, I have been jamming this all week. Okay. It really started with me noticing his Tiny Desk that he did, and NPR's Tiny Desk always does a great job of making it plain and simple, but also very artistic. Right. So just doing his song a cappella and having that intimate, band and intimate backup singer sing the songs, I fell in love. So I just started digging into his crates, and I figured out that he had a new album coming out. And let me tell you, The Forever Story, A1. So from the Tiny Desk, I discovered these two songs that I've been playing over and over and over again, called Galaxy and Surround Sound. I mean, the way he rides the beat, his flow, his sound, I just can't get enough of it. I've been playing it over and over and over again. And so if you ever need a tune, if you need a tune to listen to kind of, have a mix of hip hop, a mix of R&B. And to be honest with you, JID actually kind of has a similar sound as another artist named Smino. And I know that they kind of hang together. They have some kind of affiliation or whatever. But like the way those two artists kind of ride the beat and change up the flow and change their pitch, like I just love it. That's about for sure. That is my tune of the week, so please check it out. So anyways, thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Pretty Suited Podcast. It has been a pleasure, and I want to leave you guys with this. A water bottle can be $2, $5, or $10, depending on where you are. But what makes it valuable is where it is. So if you're not feeling valued where you are, you might just need to change your environment. Have a good one. I'll see you next week. Bye.